Okay, hi, welcome everybody to the second session in this sidetrack. This session is called Building AI-Enabled Applications with CAP. And I'm shortly going to introduce the presenters, the speakers. The first part will be presented by Max and Simon. They are from the CAP team. And the other two presenters will be, I need to look. If you get older, you can't remember so much. We have Markus and Peter from Sub IT in a joint presentation. Please welcome the speakers, give them a hand, and then the stage is yours.
Right, thanks a lot. Also very warm welcome from my side. So I hope all of you are here because you want to see the latest and greatest AI innovations that were already, a bit teasered in Ole's and Daniel's keynote session. So that's exactly the session where you will get all the details from the CAP team on MCP adapter, agents, AI plugin, and so on. Okay, but before we dive deeper into the details, let me set the stage and the scope a little bit. So as Ole already said in his keynote, when we think about using AI with CAP, we basically have two buckets, right? So we can, and that's shown on the left-hand side, on the one side, use AI and coding agents to create CAP applications, right? But that doesn't make our CAP applications any smarter. And then we can actually use AI in our CAP applications, infuse AI capabilities into our CAP applications. And that will exactly be the topic for this talk. Now, if we look what is happening in the IT and the software industry, we can see a clear shift, right? So maybe we are not there yet at the SaaS apocalypse, right? And LLMs will not eat software completely. But there is a clear shift away from pure apps, so purely creating apps, towards an agentic system, right? Using agents that contain the logic, and then let agents talk together, and by that form what we call the autonomous enterprise. Now, if you look at such an architecture, and if you look at that shift from cloud native to, let's say, AI native, of course, there is a lot of additional complexity. So if we look at the AI native North Star, which you can also find on the SAP Architecture Center, the actual app here at the bottom, that's only a very small piece, right? And then off top, we need some MCP servers to expose the data. Those MCP servers need to be discoverable by agents. We need to build those agents. So we need some kind of framework or SDK maybe to build those agents. Those agents need to talk to each other via A2A. The agents need to be registered and discoverable, for example, in the agent gateway. So that's all a lot of complexity. In the end, of course, it should be integrated into Joule. Again, some additional complexity. And the good news here is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel. So the good news is really that in the session, we'll see that CAP helps you with all of that. So CAP helps you to build those AI-enabled, AI-native agentic applications. Right. And how that is actually done, Simon will show in a very cool demo.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Max. Hope you can hear me well. So yeah, we'll jump right into the demo, where our end goal will be to build a CAP-based travel booking agent. To start, we will have a look at the X-Travels application, where all of our demo will take place. So you probably know it. We have our travels here. We can manage them. We can visit the object page. We have different information. Then also flight data that is coming from the X-Flights application. It will also play a role throughout the demo. So in general, we will split the demo into 3 parts. So we will see the 3 different pillars of AI in CAP. So the first thing we'll do is put us in the shoes of a travel manager and create a new travel. As you can see, we have a lot of information we need to fill out, like the customer, the agency, our purpose, and a lot of different information. So what we want to do now is use AI, especially Rapid-1, the GPT-1 model from SAP, to give us recommendations for those fields. For that, we'll jump right into our coding environment, go to the Extravels application, and just install the Capture.s AI plugin. That is quick enough here. Great. And we can go back and start it again. As you can see in hybrid mode, so we are resolving our service bindings to AI core. So we got the AI access there. And what we should see now, if we go back to the Travels application, is that we can open our object page and we immediately get some recommendations here for all of our value helps. Because what the plugin does is to take all the existing value help annotations, reading them out, and then taking all the other objects you have in the database and then sending them to AI core to do all the heavy computation there. And accept those recommendations. Also, when we save it, it asks us there are 2 recommendations we haven't accepted yet. So we can accept them and get all our recommendations in here. So that is the first pillar of AI, really with the focus of easy usability. So if you have your UI annotations in place for the value helps, all you need to do is just to install the plugin. So the next thing in the AI space we could think of are MCP servers. We also got a small teaser of that this morning, but we will have a deeper look into what is happening now. For that, we will jump right into our exploits application and our data service. So we have a pre-existing data application here where the main goal is to serve our flight data. And see we have some entities, just as some projections, some selections, and then also some actions. All we need to do now to build an MCP server out of this is to put the @MCP annotation here. We then jump to the, let's go back if you want to take a picture of it. And go back and just watch our exploits application. We can see that our data service is now also served over MCP, but also still over all the other protocols. What you've seen in the keynote this morning is the communication from an local running agent like OpenCode, because what the plugin does is to provide auto configuration for some selected clients. But what we will do now is to look at the technical details, so we can connect to it in the MCP inspector here. We have a look at our tools. We can see that we get the 3 tools already mentioned. So the first one being a query tool to query for data. Do that and query the flights. Right, and we'll see we can get the data of our database. The next one being a call action tool that we can use to call the actions. And then a third one, which is a describe tool, so that the agent can get more context about the specific service, the specific server is talking to. And with that, what we did is to enable our pre-existing xFlights server service to be now consumed by agents. Speaking of agents, that will be the next thing we will have a look at. So going back to our IDE here, we can have a look at the 2 more pre-existing applications. So we have now the event service. You also quickly saw this morning. It's just a basic data service with events, bookings, and some actions here to book an event or cancel an event. What you also see is that we have used a lot of doc comments here to give more context to the agent in that phase now, so it knows about that service. So all we need to do now is the agent annotation here. We need to put on that event service, just like the MCP annotation. And going to our hotel service, which is pretty similar. Again, just some entities, some actions, and we again just add the add agent annotation here. And then we will have a look at what happens. We have our 3 terminals running now. We start the X Hotels application, also in hybrid mode. And what we can see now is that our event service here is served via the agent-to-agent protocol, and exactly the same for our hotel service. So it's running on 4006. So visit that. And as you can see, we got the endpoints for our agents also here. First thing that is now done is the agent card that is automatically constructed. In a little bit, you can see we got a name, a description, then some more interface information, but most importantly, what the agent exposes to the outside world. And in that case, these are the skills of the agent. So you can see we get the query skill, a book event pass, and a cancel event pass. So what the agent exposes to the outside world is basically you can query data with me and you can apply the actions with me. What the plugin then also does is to give us a little preview window, just served as a local preview here. And what we can do is in the event service, maybe just ask the agent, please show me all events. What this UI does is to construct an A2A request that is then sent to our agent. We can also see it here. There's an agent request coming in to show me all events. We can then see the agent uses the internal query tool and response. And as we can see, we have all our 5 events here. It will work exactly the same for our hotel agent that we built. We also get a preview and can also communicate with it. So the plugin does all of the heavy lifting, all of the LangGraph construction, all of the AI core communication. That is all done in the plugin. And the only thing, at least for the basic agents, you need to do is just put the add agent annotation on this service here. And there is another version of agents that we specified. For that, we will go to the X Travels application. We have now we want to build our big travel booking agent that was also a little bit teasered this morning, that we have not just a basic CAP service here there, not just a CDS service, but we can enhance the context of our agent with markdown files. But again, we start with a service as always in CAP, but this time only with the add agent annotation on it. You can see it consists only of one action. That action is annotated with common is action critical. We will see the impact of that later. And then, as you can see, also a lot of documents specifying a lot of additional context here. Then what we also have in CAP is just a standard event handler. The standard implementations, but as you can see, we just implement our action. So in those handlers, there's no agent-specific stuff we need to do. What I'll do in the meantime is I already prepared it because the agent is a little bit longer running, because the task here is a little bit more complex. What we asked it to do is to plan a trip to Sapphire 27 for Theresia Buchholm, the customer ID, and then specifying she's flying from Frankfurt. And we are telling the agent to go ahead and book it as it prefers it. Can send the request, and as it takes some time because there are a lot of tools involved, we can now go back and look at the implementation. We then have the agent's MD file. So there we specify the basic identity, the basic guidelines of that agent. So just in plain markdown, some guidelines to be proactive, and all the things about tool usage the agent needs to know. What we can then also do is to provide additional skills that should not be in the general agent identity here, because, for example, the flight booking. So we can, in case the agent wants to book a flight, it can load that skill and get more information on how to proceed on that topic. To our browser and open a little diagram here, because this is actually what we are doing now. And as you can see in our Travels application, we have our X Travels, that is AI enabled now, and then also our travel agent. And that travel agent needs access now to all our downstream flight service that we enabled with MCP, but then also access to our hotel agent and to our events agent, in this case over A2A. So this communication needs also be established somewhere. So what we can do is to jump in the package.json and have a look at it, and can see that for our travel agent service in the CDS require service, we have an entry where we can specify MCP servers and then also all the sub-agents that should use. In this case, the data service is our local running X-Flights application, and then the sub-agents, hotel and event, are our local running agents for events and hotels. Because we are using CAP, we can then also leverage the different profiles to, in development, use our local agents, and in production, we could resolve this over destinations on the BTP. Let's go back and hope that the agent is doing something. But we can see now that it's asking for our approval. And if you remember the is action critical annotation from earlier, this is what happened now. The agent reasoned, did a lot of things in the background, communicated with the downstream agents and MCP servers, and now came to the conclusion that it wants to execute the create travel action. Giving some args, and then also the flights it wants to book. We just go ahead and approve it. Wait for some seconds. Ideally, we should get a summary now. Perfect. So we can see that everything is confirmed with the complete plan here. So we can see we got our flights, then we got our hotel, our event pass, and our return flight. And ideally, if we go back to the UI now and reload it, great. We can see that we got our trip to Sapphire. It's booked by the AI agency. So that is done here, and our task to build the travel booking agent is done. And everything we needed to do for that to build the agent is for basic agents, just the annotations, and for more complex scenarios where the agent needs more context, we just put the add agent annotation and then can enhance the context with plain markdown files. And with that, I think done with the demo, and back to Max, who will share some more information on what we've just seen.
Thanks a lot, Simon. A really cool demo. Round of applause. I think he prayed a lot to the demo gods in the morning. Everything worked out, even using AI. I think we need to share.
I stopped the sharing. Yeah, that's my bad. Eating.
So we saw quite a lot of things in that demo, right? So now let's take the time to digest it a little bit together in the following slides.
Sharing again. Thank you.
Sharing agent kicked in. It's built by CAP, by the way. So what we saw first, what Simon showed first, is the brand new CAP AI plugin. We just released it recently, the Node version, a couple of weeks, 1 or 2 months back, and the Java version was just released like 1 or 2 weeks ago. So what it does behind the scenes, basically, it simplifies and automates the AI core integration. So creating resource groups, deployments, configs, and so on. Everybody who already did that once manually knows it's a lot of pain. So the plugin should help to really automate and simplify that setup, and all in a calcified way. The prime use case we implemented as first use case, many more to come, is AI-powered recommendations in Fiori UIs by leveraging SAP's Rapid-1 model. So as Simon showed, it's really easy to use. That was one of our core principles. You just need one annotation, minimal configuration, and you're good to go. And as I said, there are many more AI features to come. So for example, we're also looking into integrating document AI and many other features so that this AI plugin is really your one-stop shop for any AI, SAP-related AI integration. Okay, what we also saw is the brand new CAP MCP adapter. So again, very simple to use. You just need to add one annotation, add MCP, and you basically get a fully fledged MCP server out of the box, exposing the 3 tools that we mentioned. The scribe tool for retrieving information about the data model. So the AI agent can query the data model, knows, okay, what kind of entities do we have? Then the query tool to read data, to basically execute arbitrary queries. And then also one more tool for calling actions and functions. Again, yeah, following a declarative intent-based approach. So you just need to add one annotation, and that's basically it to make your already existing CAP app ready to be used in an agentic system. Okay, and then, yeah, the newest addition to our AI family, so to say, the CAP agent plugin. Short disclaimer, I label it as lab preview here because it's not released yet, but we are planning to do so in the next couple of weeks. So yeah, stay tuned and look out for that in the release notes. So again, very same concept here. The idea is to agentify an existing CAP application by just adding one annotation. So at least in the simplest case. Of course, as Simon showed, we also have more advanced modes where you can add markdown files, skills, HMDs to give additional knowledge to your CAP-based agent. But in the simplest case, it's really just that one annotation. And again, following the principle that, yeah, the developer can really focus on the domain, focus on actually building the agent and not all of the cross-cutting concerns around that, right? So that's also some feedback that we got. CAP is pretty good at solving all those cross-cutting concerns, audit logging, telemetry, you name it, and that's already solved. And we are reusing that in our agent plugin, so you can really focus on the agent itself and on the domain. And most importantly, you can build on a familiar framework, right? And you don't need to use any other framework or even another programming language like Python, for example. Okay, so to sum it up, if you have an existing CAP application and you now want to take that to the AI world, to the agentic world, what you can do is, first of all, you can use the AI plugin to integrate some AI capabilities, for example, RapidOne-based recommendations. And then you can use the MCP adapter to make your CAP service available to some agents. And then on top of that, you can even build your own agents using CAP and also integrate those agents either to other agents using the HAA protocol or ultimately also integrated into Joule, our favorite assistant, AI assistant. And if we go back to the diagram I showed earlier and look at all the complexity, we will see that CAP really now helps with most of that, right? If it is the MCP server, creating MCP servers, making it available to agents, creating those agents, integrating those agents into Joule or registering it in the agent gateway, that's all covered by CAP. Now you might say, okay, the demo was really nice, but that's more or less a toy example. And to prove that this is not true, we're actually very happy to have Markus and Peter today with us on the stage, who will show you how all of this is already used within SAP in a very sophisticated and productive environment in their agentic platform. Over to you.
Hello. So until Peter plugs in, I have a question. Who developed an A2A agent already? Yeah. Okay. Who used LangGraph? Node.js or Python? Node.js. Okay. Oh, well, obviously in a CAP conference, so you're not going to be Python folks. So now? I need to just get closer. Good. So obviously, some of you may have had that experience of going through the hoops and loops and what an agent is and how deep you go, and is it LangGraph deep agent, or is it this, or is it that, and you go down that rabbit hole for months. We did the same. So in the end, we ended up joining up with the CAP team to say, listen, there's nearly everything is what we've done before, and the heavy lifting stays the same. So you still have all the backend systems, you have connectivity to the backend system, you need to have logging, you need to have tracing. The only thing we want to add is this little reasoning layer on top that uses this data and presents it well. And we ended up with the system we're going to demo today. It's just released to 5 users, and it's not integrated into the global Joule yet, but it's following exactly the same principle. So we have the A2A plugin, but we deploy A2A plugin with LangGraph as a backend. So he didn't say, but it's actually supported as well. So you can deploy the plugin with the LangGraph backend. We have a full fleet of MCP servers and backend adapters, all running a CAP hierarchy you're going to see later today. The main takeaway before we start doing the demo is the trick is to keep it simple. So I think what Daniel showed this morning, the experience you get when you use Claude, if it works then, you've done it right. If you need hundreds of skills and a complicated graph, agent and whatever, you're doing something wrong. And what we've learned, I start this before we do the demo, I do a few prompts, is the MCP servers are actually not just your existing application. We have learned that we need a projection or we need a consumption view that's dedicatedly using the names, the knowledge the internet already has about something, right? So an action or a function that's called ZK2212 doesn't help any agent because it doesn't know. And instead of creating skills, you create a composition view and the respective annotations, the respective descriptions that make it human internet knowledge language. You call it customer account. And by magic, the LLM will just know. So that's the common trick I want to all give you. That's what Karpati says from Anthropic as well. What we learned is like you design the MCP servers well, you give it proper names, you make it Internet Sprech, right? Internet speech proper names, you make it sure the exception handling, everything is agentic, then your agent becomes a simple prompt like what Simon was showing. If the agent gets out of hand and really complex, you're doing something wrong. Good, now I'm trying to show a few clicks of what the application is. So the application you're gonna see in Joule in production, we're gonna implement the lead to cache fully agentic for our users. That means they can do everything from a chat. Now, Peter showed me this nice device. I'm not using it. It's supposed to have the prompts on the click. I'll see if it works. So the first prompt is actually working. For the sales executives to see, there's a material number for success customer success factors. How much discount can I give? Sounds very simple, but it's actually really complicated. That the system will look up the price list, it will have to look up the business rules we have deployed, it will look up the sales rules, it will look up the catalog for the product, and it gives the account executive guidance, what is this product and how much discount can you give? So you see the developer debug, and it's actually, showing you all that information, right? So it sounds simple, but it isn't. It took us a while to get the MCP servers, the backend adapters, and everything in place. So obviously, the idea in the end is that the whole fleet of SAP's products is actually structured like this. Since we're in time pressure, I'll just show one more feature we're using that you get nearly out of the box as well. Is that the memory? Yeah. See. So without any magic, CAP standard functionality, we upload a file and use the LLM's capability to just read the content of the file. And most sellers, they have like Excel sheets lying around somewhere where they say, okay, this is what I want to sell on the market, and they can bring that content into the infrastructure. Okay, so I cannot show most of the data because it's a production system. It's showing what, let's say, this BMW and the BW have in our infrastructure, and I can't have that on recording. But we're closing the gap from the seller to go from customer discovery to creating quotes within 20 minutes of half an hour, which took days before. because you could just have the LLM reason, oh, I have this dependent product I need to add to the BOM because it's a dependency. Oh, you're trying to sell a product which actually not on the price list anymore. There's a successor product, it's this product. So it helps the seller guide through that complicated composition of a bill of material, the pricing, and so on. Quite impressive, all LLM knowledge, the rest is just MCP servers written well. So the agent is really what Simon was showing. It's a one-page prompt. You are an SAP account executive, you sell software, and you have the following MCP tools available. That's it. Good, I hand over to Peter for some background information.
So much. As you could see, this is quite a complex system, but under the hood, you can see that this is not just magic. We can do a network trace, and if I just zoom in, we can see what is happening in a prompt like this. And I think it's quite obvious that we have a React front-end application, but it could be pretty much anything. It could be Joule, it could be whatever, because we are connecting with A2A to a lead loop. And then the lead loop has access to quite a few CAP services. And we can actually see it calling different MCP servers. In Marcus's example before, we called the pricing and the catalog. It also features a memory which gets populated based on how the user interacts with the system. With different things, it will learn things about the user, and we can also add facts to it or remove those facts we probably don't want. And this is a really helpful thing in day-to-day work. What also to the shortness of time, what I can also show that there is the lead researcher is also a planner and a researcher with the possibility to do sub-agent calls. And if we go back to, let's say, this last prompt, we can also do an agent trace to see actually what's happening. But if you've seen it previously, we always try to make the whole thing as concise and as short as possible, because if we add many depth to it, it will mean that the system will run slow, and it will also not be as cost effective as it could be. Of course, we are in development mode, so the end users will not see all those buttons and all those functionality. But I think it's especially at this conference, it's quite important to see what actually Flit is. And Flit is just a great GitHub repo, which now has 26 contributors. And working together as 26 people, as you probably know, it's not an easy task, but it's a task that nowadays it's really held by CAP. Because nowadays most developers, and I'm sure many of you in this room, are using some sort of agentic coding. It could be something like Claude Code, Codex, whatever. And now imagine 26 developers all doing full-time thousands of lines of commits in a single repo. It would be chaos without something like CAP. And actually the trick here is to force your coding agent to use CAP. You need to benefit from CAP. So I would always tell the new joiners, which we fortunately had 4 new people joining the Budapest office, is that the agent is the star of the demo. Like you could easily demo and it's fancy and it has a nice React front end, but actually the star of the postmortem is CAP itself, because CAP helps you to not worry about the quote unquote boring stuff. And then you can focus on the really exciting stuff, like building this Fleet with lots of skills, lots of features, memory, going to real HANA, etc. That's one thing. And also what I always recommend is to do the federation always via the CDS Connect 2, and always use CDS requires, CDS bind, and if you do those, just those three, it's enough to really de-stress your work when you are creating new CAP services in an agentic solution like Fleet or whichever you are building. And the other thing you really want to leverage is, it was already shown by Simon just a few minutes ago, and I'm thankful for that because the time is short. So what you really want to leverage is the 2 or 3 tiers of development work. So normally when I do development, I use the hybrid mode. For this, we created this shortcut, the PNPN run up, which is starting all the services locally, but those services are connecting to real HANA, the real BTP subaccount, and with this, it really makes the developer's life easy. And of course, if you don't want them, you just want some simple mock, like for that we have a local mode, which I mainly use for testing, and then you would mock HANA with a SQLite and just have some random data, especially if you don't want to mess in a real database, even if they are just development databases. And then the third tier, before it gets to other people, before it gets to PR review, what I do is deploy to a BTP subaccount, deploy to a schema and on my own namespace. And with this, I can see that close to production deployment, it's as close as possible. Production deployment also works. And by testing there, as you can see, we are now in localhost, and we see something that is very, very close to production, but we are using this mock user, this Alice Smith, not my real user. And actually, we can use the single sign-on, but we can use 2 mock users for testing things. One is admin, the Bob, and the other one is not. And this way we can really thoroughly test, because I believe that agentic development is more and more around testing. So in the last minute, what I would emphasize, and I have slides for that towards the end, is in agentic engineering. Let's see how I put that in presenter mode. Let's go to the end of the slides. So there are a few things which we learned in 6 weeks, because this repo is 6 weeks old. Of course, there was prior art and a lot of development before, but the Fleet repo itself is 6 weeks old. And what we learned during those 6 weeks is AI agents help you a lot to code, but it also means that you need a clear structure. And you also, when you look at the numbers, it has 27 packages, 33 services. So it's a full feature thing, but you need to have a really rigorous approach to agentic development. And this means that small teams, one person is an innovator, one is a scaler, those work on a feature and give rules, not instruction. And if you engineer those 3 things, the tools, the persona, and the skills, you engineer them well, then you skyrocket your development speed. Thank you so much. Yes.
Just 2 more notes, 10 seconds. So if you like the session, or if you have any feedback, please use this QR code to access the feedback tool. And there will also be an expert corner on the AI topic. I think it's 4:30. Let's see if we can get the slide.
I think it's.
So yeah,
it's
just look out for the expert corner. Will be there, so you can ask any questions or give any feedback. Thank you.
Okay. As we are short on time, as Max already mentioned, there will be an expert corner. If you have any questions regarding to the AI stuff, please go ahead, ask any question you like.